Well, that's new. Well, hello. If you didn't know, we are being recorded. That was a new thing. But anyways, happy Monday. Hello, hello. Whoa, that like threw me off guard there. But happy end of month, happy Monday, happy beginning of a week, happy almost June, like all the happy happies. Let's go ahead and drop our I ams in the chat. It is Monday. I almost said it is May. Duh. It is Monday, no matter what. So I want you guys to speak out what you're working towards. And I love having Monday. Honestly, my two favorite types of Zooms for Mondays are the last day of the month or the first day of the month. Mainly because I feel like the last day of the month, we have less people on our Zooms than we do on the first day of the month. And the reason I say that is because by now, people have already kind of quit on themselves. And that's sad, right? So I want you guys to think about that going into a new month. At the end of June, are you going to be on that Zoom as well? Or are you going to quit on yourself? And the reason I say that is because you can say your I ams in the chat. You can say your I ams on sticky notes. You can say them in the mirror, but unless you actually mean what you're saying, it's just words. And we always say like talk is cheap, right? Well, that's how it is with how you speak out what you're working towards. Anybody can say, I want to be a 200K. Like, great. Are you willing to do the work to get to 200K when you aren't even willing to get to the work to get to 4K, right? So I want you to really think about what you want out of June, but more importantly, what you want out of May. We have like 2 hours, 3 hours left in May. What are you going to do with those hours? This thing is chopping off my head. There we go. If you are running to re-rank and re-earn your bonus from the last 4 months, why are you slowing down? There are hours left in this month and amazing things can happen in like such a short amount of time. When I tell you that people have like pulled out what they call miracles, but what I call you earned it, you've been working for it, in the last hour is insane. If you're fighting for a brand new rank, why are you slowing down? Because it's 9 o'clock at night? What is that going to get you? So I want you guys to know that how you run these last couple of hours say so much how your month is going to be next month also. I know MJ put in the hustling page about starting fresh or something and shaking off May. So I want to talk about that because whether it is your best month, your worst month, or it's your still undecided month, which I hope it is for everybody here, still undecided since we have so many hours still left in the month, I want you to know that tomorrow, everybody starts at 0. Even me. Hey, hi, hello. Every single person, when that clock strikes at midnight, we're like Cinderella and all of our carriage turn into pumpkins. We all lose our outfits and the lizards come back and the geese and the mice and it strikes 0, right? That's all of us. What are you going to do with that 0? Because what you do with the last couple hours at the end of the month, if you give up, you're going into a new month knowing that you gave up. I want you to not give up on yourself this month. Stop giving up. You already know what it's like to give up. You already know what it's like to quit. You already know what it's like to slow down. What's it like to not let off the gas? What's it like to stop treating the end of the month like the end of the month and just treating it like another day as a business owner? What's it like to look at the 30th or the 31st and the 1st and instead of saying new month, new goals, or okay, end of month, like it's fine, I'll start tomorrow, it's a new month, and say, you know what, this is my business. I'm going to work it like a business no matter if it's the end of the month, the beginning of the month, or the middle of the month. I'm just going to show up and work. Instead of looking at everything like end of month or the first of the month and worrying about shaking off the last month. And because y'all, I think Mercury is in retrograde right now and I'm a Gemini. So if you know, you know, like it's fun. It's a great time, but I don't look at it as a bad month. You can choose to look at end of month as end of month. You can choose to look at the first of the month as a new month, new goals, new fresh start, new this, new that. Or you can choose to look at every single day for what it is, an opportunity for you to work your business. There are so many hours left in this day. What are you going to do with it? Whether you've hit your goals or not, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to use the next 3 hours for? Are you going to chalk it up to a loss, or are you going to chalk it up and say, you know what? This is my business. I'm going to show up regardless, because tomorrow is another day I get to run my business. When I flip the script in my mind of it's end of month, I have to run, to this is my business, I have to run every day, my business started to act like a business. My business started to pay me like a business. I started to respect my business as a business and not just some social media thing. And I want to talk about social media tonight. I want to show you guys a mini self-audit on social media, but most importantly, I want to talk about something. And if you're in my team page, it was so funny because Rochelle was like, I have something I want to post. Can I post it? And I was like, absolutely. Why are you asking me? Like, post. And then I read it and I was like, she's in my fucking head, because this is what I wanted to talk about tonight. So if you already read that post, great. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, great, because we're going to talk about it. So I want to talk about what we do on social media. Before we do our self-audits, before we talk about looking at your page, and I'm not going to tell you what you're doing is right or wrong, because who am I to tell you that? This is your business, right? I will never tell you that you're not working your business. I will never tell you you need to post more. I will never tell you that you're not doing IPAs. I will never tell you this. I will never tell you that. Because at the end of the day, this is your business. You do for your business what your business needs. I'll do for my business what my business needs, right? So I want to talk about what we do, right? Every single person here does the same things. We are paid problem solvers. What does that mean? And Rochelle put it in words perfectly. It was, and I was going to go a different route, but after reading hers, I want to go her route first and then pull it into social media a little bit. Is, you guys know I'm queen of lists, right? Fives. Hi. If you have no idea what a fives list is, well, this might be your first training with me, and God bless you. But I believe in lists. Am I organized outside of my business? Do I have grocery lists? Absolutely not. So why I have lists in my business, we really have no idea. My husband is still confused, but it's all right. My business is the most organized thing about me. And that's probably why it's the most successful thing about me, is because I take it serious. So I want you to take what we do serious as problem solvers. A lot of us on here are women. Not all of us, but a lot of us. And we love to take on other people's problems. Hi. Hey, hi, hello. We love to look at things for our kids, for our spouses, for our parents, for our siblings, for our friends, and try and fix them. Why are you not doing that using what your business has to offer? Our products, do they not solve problems? The opportunity, does it not solve problems? So what I want you to do is, surprise, surprise, we're going to make a list. And I was very proud when Rochelle did this. I said, I'm rubbing off on her. Holy shit. But I want you to make 2 lists. I want you to write out one list about problems that our products can solve. Don't just talk about 3 steps. I want you to touch and talk about plus line items. I want you to touch on and talk about what each part of the 3 steps, right? And if you are unsure, then I want you to start using our products more. Why do you use them? Instead of worrying about other people's problems first, what problems did our product solve for you? For me, energy. For me, mood stability. Because if y'all think I'm spicy now, y'all should see me without our products. Whew. It was bad. But for me, it was the mental clarity. For me, so do you see how this is kind of similar to your 5s list for the products, right? But the reason why it's different is because you're turning these from actual problems. Your 5s list for the products, mine is on there how simple it is, how this, how that, right? But now I want you to take it on a different level, and I want you to figure out what problems our products can solve for people. Moms, dads, nurses, teachers, your great Aunt Betsy, whatever it may be. I want you to think about what our problems can do. What can our products do to solve those problems? What can they do? How are they going to help these people? Next, I want you to do the same thing for the opportunity. What can this opportunity solve for somebody? We have a lot of moms that were on WIC that are now six-figure earners. We have some people that are able to fund IVF. We have some people that have been able to adopt. We have people that have been able to pay down bills. We have people that have been able to buy cars. We have people that have been able to pay for their family's vacation. We have people that have paid savings account. We have people that are able to buy diapers now. We have people that are able to not have to worry about what type of cheese they're buying. Think about it. What can this opportunity do? That is what you're sharing on social media. So before we do any sort of self-audit, I need you to look at those lists and keep those two types of things in mind when you're coming up with content. A lot of times you hear, well, probably all the times you hear me say, just share, y'all, just share. And people are like, what the fuck do I share? And I'm like, just share. And it wasn't until I realized the other day what sharing meant and what I wasn't sharing with y'all. To me, it was so simple to solve problems, right? Have you been solving problems on your social media? Have you been giving options on your social media? Have you been giving opportunities on your social media? Not just sharing your fives list. Anybody can put together bullet points and slap them on a post and call it a day. But are you putting meaning behind those? Are you assigning them to a problem? Because I can tell you right now, every single one of my posts that I've ever written, they solve some sort of problem. Are you solving problems? Are you helping others? Because when you take this as being a paid problem solver, you're turning your business into much more than volume. You're turning it into impact. And that's where I want to pull in the social media audits. And again, I'm not going to ever tell you what you need to post, what you need to say, what you need to do, because who am I to tell you that? Just like I will never hop in somebody's inbox and tell them that they need me, they need these products, they need this company, because who am I to tell them that they do? You're here because you saw a solution to a problem. Whether it be product-wise or opportunity-wise, you saw a solution and you wanted it. Why are you not giving those same solutions and options for solutions to other people? Pick something to share about. Pick a problem to solve and share about that problem that you are solving and how you're solving it. It's like, and we're finally going to start using like, what is it? Y equals X and Y, I don't know, something in algebra, whatever we had to learn in like middle school, right? We're finally using that, y'all. We're making our own version of it. My algebra teacher would be so proud, but we are finally using that. Turn this equation of problems and start giving them solutions to share about. So now I want you to go and look at your social media. I know, weird, right? I'm telling you to get off of whatever you're looking at me. Y equals X, MX plus B. I don't think that was it either, but maybe. Whatever it is, we're using that and we're turning from problems and solutions. So now I want you to look at your social media. It's fine if you can't see me, you can still hear me, and really that's all that matters. I am gonna share my screen to show you guys what I am looking at, but this is recorded so you'll be able to go back to it, and I am going to talk to you guys all about it. So let me share my screen. Does it give me this option? Hold on. Share screen. Here we go. Okay, share. All right, are y'all looking at my Facebook? Yes? Okay, cool. Hold on. Let me admit people while we are doing this also. Okay, so I am gonna show you guys what I look at when I do a social media makeover on myself. So my biggest things are, of course, my fives list, but it's really not as complicated as people make it seem. This picture is a little aggressive. I haven't really stared at it that long, so I apologize, but I will be changing that soon. But that's a very aggressive picture. So if you're like me and you were just getting married and you wanted to be aggressive, that was my look at the time. I don't think that's the journey I'm going on right now. So we'll be changing that, but like I said, we're doing a self audit. So I know for myself where I am in my my life. This probably needs to be changed a little bit to more my brand, but that's all right. So I noticed that about it. I want you to look at your pictures. I don't want you to think pretty social media as in it has to be a picture perfect picture. It doesn't need to be professional. It doesn't need to be the best thing that's ever taken. It just needs to be you. If your picture is of a cartoon, if your picture is of a dog, if your picture is of a flower, if your picture is of, I don't know, whatever it may be, I want you, this isn't part of my journey today. I want you to change it. I want you to put something that has to do with you, because if your face is not on your profile, how are people supposed to know it's you? How are you supposed to build a brand for you if you're not even shown? So that's kind of my two cents about this area. Next, this is my fives list. My bio is around my fives list. It doesn't have to be too complicated, just something simple around your fives. This is literally my entire fives right here. The next thing I want you guys to do is I want you to, at some point today, well, maybe tonight, tomorrow, at some point, is I want you to take some time and look at your posts. We just talked about problem solving, right? So I want you to go down and see, would anybody, one, know that you were in a company and what you had to offer? And two, would anybody know what problems you're solving? Instead of me saying, would anyone know your fives? Would anyone know this? I want to switch it. And I want to know if anybody would know problems that you're solving. So congratulations to everybody that hit ranks that are on my page. Thank you very much. So for me, I love my zingers. It's part of my personality. It's huge for me. So for me, zingers are big for me. I love to switch things up. I sometimes write large captions. Sometimes I do smaller ones. Where was my ones from earlier? I don't think they all loaded. Hold on. My Wi-Fi is being weird. I had one yesterday or today. Okay, here we go. So I have ones that are more meaningful. So to me, my problem being solved in ones around my team are what I've been able to build. People search their whole lives to be a part of something. People search their whole lives to find genuine, authentic relationships. And more than that, you're creating an opportunity for them by just a single yes. So that is huge for me when it comes to sharing about my team. To me, the problem I'm solving is I'm helping people feel like they belong somewhere, just the way they are. So that to me is what I share when I share about my team. See how I'm sharing about a problem, but I'm sharing. I'm not just saying, join me. Why would somebody want to join your team? What do you have to offer? Right? So those are really big for me of what I love to do. Another one about being full-time family, yada, yada. So more problems that I'm solving that I had worked on. For me, that is huge when it comes to looking at your social media and figuring out what you're doing. So I want all of you guys to really take some time tonight and look at your social media. I'm going to talk about Instagram in just a second, but I want you to look at your social media and I want you to ask yourself, if you were somebody brand new, just added you on Facebook today, who went and looked at your page, would they have any idea what you have to offer? Just on the first two posts. And you could say yes, but I want you to ask yourself now one step further. What problem are you solving in your first post on that they would see? Is it something that's inviting? Is it something that's about the opportunity? Is it something that's about the products? Is it something that is important to your journey here? That is how I look at posts. No, you don't have to overthink it. No, it shouldn't take you 13 hours to be like, oh my gosh, am I sharing the right stuff? That's not what this is about. But what I want you to do is if you're having a hard time posting every single day, I want you to just pick a problem, and then I want you to write about the solution. If you're having a hard time posting every single day, I want you to pick from your 5s list and say, which one of these do I want to share about? My kid. Today I'm going to talk about Rylan. Okay, now I'm going to look at my problems list. Which problem do I want to talk about? How about the fact that if I was still working as a nurse, I would be exhausted. So that's kind of a product and a comp plan. Okay, perfect. This is what I'm going to go about. Or, you know what, I'm going to talk about my kid. What am I going to talk about? Well, I've been wearing white label a lot lately, and it basically, like, I'm not as batshit crazy and it calms me down. So how about I'm going to talk about the patience I have with my kid? Do you see how you're able to formulate content when you take it just step by step instead of trying to have one huge, ginormous picture already painted before you've even grabbed a paintbrush, right? You're breaking it up. It's kind of like our goals. I look at content like I look at goals. When I tell you guys, look at your monthly goal, right? If it's 4K, what does that equal weekly? What does that equal daily? Okay, perfect. Every single day, instead of looking at that 4K, look at what you need to do daily. You see how you break things up into different like equations? I don't know why I'm into math tonight. It's fine. But you know, you see how you break things up. I want you to break up your content that way, because when you go on to your social media and you start to look at your pages, and we're going to look at Instagram in just a second, but once you look at your pages, right, you're going to start to say, okay, this is so much more me than it is just spamming products everywhere, and it's telling a story. But more importantly, it's telling my story. So I really want you to start looking at your content just as that. Let me pick my 5s list one first. Then from there, let me go apply a problem that has to do with my 5s list and talk about it. Another example, I literally am pulling these out of my ass, so don't mind me. But one of my 5s list is home decor, right? I love decorating my house. I love home decor. I love doing all those sorts of things. So one of my problems could have been, before this, I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with my Great Dane, and I definitely could not afford home goods. Like, if you know, you know, like it gets expensive in there. So I definitely could not afford home goods. So I have part of my 5s. I'll probably take a picture around my home decor. And then I'll talk about how 3.5 years ago, I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment with my Great Dane, and I was lucky if I could even get something from Target on a regular basis. Now I'm able to not even think twice and don't have to check my bank account. Do you see how that works? But you also don't have to be at that level to where you have to check your bank account. You can share about this is what I'm doing. Right now I live in a 1-bedroom, because this is what I did, y'all. 3.5 years ago, I didn't live in this home. Home decor was still one of my favorite things. You know what I used to talk about? I used to talk about the day that I was going to be able to decorate my own office. I would talk about and take a picture of my 1-bedroom apartment. I would say, you know what? This right here is my starting point. Talk about the journey. Talk about it. You don't have to be at your end result or your goal result or that picture perfect place in order to talk about it. You are just so afraid to talk about your content that you aren't sharing your story, and you're not solving any problems, including your own. You have to talk about where you are and where you started. And one thing that I also want to mention before I move to Instagram is I want you to look at where you are today in your business. Today. And then I want you to look at the day you started. How much growth is there? You're so busy looking at where you aren't that you haven't even stopped to look back at how far you've come. Some of y'all couldn't even enroll a customer. Some of y'all were in my inbox asking me, what's wrong with me? Why can't I enroll a promoter? And I was like, nothing is wrong with you. You have to go through the seasons. I posted in my team page that small staircase or that small steps and the large steps. Some of y'all were looking at the large steps and was like, I just need to jump, while other people were taking their time on the small steps. And that's why they were doing it. You are so worried about where you aren't that you're trying to literally jump up to the next level instead of just taking the baby steps and climbing. Look at how far you've come. And then I'll tell you one step further, share how far you've come. Share it. Why aren't you sharing it? Because you aren't where you want to be? Well, I can tell you right now, if you don't share where you started, you're not going to be where you want to be because you're so busy faking it till you make it. Y'all, I still talk about my 1-bedroom apartment. I haven't lived in that in like almost 4 years. 3.5 years. I don't want to lie to y'all. 3.5 years. I had to do math real quick. That was hard. 3.5 years. But I can tell you one thing right now. 3.5 years ago, I was rocking it in my 1-bedroom apartment with my Great Dane. Neither of us fit in the apartment, but I was still rocking it in there. And I was talking about it, and I was talking about what I was doing, and I was talking about the products, and I was talking about how I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment and Black Label was keeping me sane because my dog kept basically running me out of the apartment. You have to talk about where you started, no matter how far you've come. So if you just hit 4K and you're like, why am I not 12K yet? Baby girl, how long, where were you before that? What was the journey to 4K? Don't forget that. Don't forget to share that. Maybe you just hit 40K or 12K and you're like, you know what? I want to be a 40. I want to be 80. Why am I not 200? Where were you a year ago? Where were you 2 years ago? Do you want more? Where were you 4 years ago versus where you are today? Share about it. You guys, I hear so often, I can't make content. I don't know what to share. I don't know what to do. You're overthinking the fact that you think it has to be perfect and stuff that people want to hear, but you don't realize sometimes it's the things that people need to hear that do much more than the Pinterest perfect things want to hear. What problems are you solving? What problems? Think about it. Okay, let's talk about Instagram real quick. And then I know it is month end and y'all are hustling, so I don't want to keep you on here too long. So I want to talk about a couple things on Instagram. And I want to talk about the importance of 2 birds in 1 stone. And if you have not done a work with me Zoom in a very long time with me, which is probably most of y'all because I will not lie, I have not done them in forever. I am taking my tomorrow, Tuesdays, I think at 10 a.m. Eastern on this Zoom ID. I'll see y'all there. I'm going to be leading the Work With Me's every Tuesday. So let's start June together on the Work With Me. And we're going to talk about 2 birds, 1 stone a lot tomorrow. But I want to talk about it real quick since I have a good amount of y'all here. And I know that most of y'all work and will not be able to just hop on. It will be recorded and on my YouTube as well. But 2 birds, 1 stone, what does that mean? 2 social media platforms, one you. So many people are like, well, how do you work 2 businesses? Like, how do you work 2 social medias on your business? Like, your business is on 2 things, but like, how do you think of all the things to share? And how do you do this? And how do you do that? I do it on one thing. I focus on one, and then I put it on the other. So don't overthink it and don't get overwhelmed when it comes to multiple platforms on social media. The more platforms, the better. And the reason I say that is because I use Instagram first for all of my captions, all of my posts, all of my stories. Then what do? I save it and I put it on Facebook. And if you're on my Work With Me tomorrow, we will definitely talk about this a lot more. But I just wanted to touch base on that because you are going to notice, for me, my Instagram and Facebook, they look the exact same. Why? Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. For me, I like what I'm sharing. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't share it. So why would I go and change it to put it on a different platform? If people are on both of your platforms and they're seeing it twice, well, guess what? You're planting that seed twice. They're seeing it. They're meant to see it. If they see it twice, I think that's a God wink that they're meant to see it. They needed what I was saying. They might not have wanted it, but they needed it. So Two birds, one stone. Who's with me? So first and foremost, I want you to look at your little app. We're going to call it an avatar, but it's like your profile picture for Instagram. This is probably one of the strangest things I will ever say, but it is so important to keep it steady. And the reason I say that is because that avatar is something that people are going to start to notice. When you're building a brand on Instagram and you're changing that picture, I know you're probably like, that's the stupidest, like, most shallow thing anybody has ever said. And I admit it sounds so like cockamamie, like crazy, but people look and start to recognize you by that picture. So do yourself a favor and stick to one for a while. I change mine probably twice a year as Rylan grows and he doesn't look like the picture anymore. And you can obviously tell it's an old picture. So for me, I put this picture up like 2 months ago, and I'll leave it probably until winter, if I'm being honest, because people will get to know your brand. And why that biggest thing is stories. People will get to know and identify you for that little avatar. So when they're looking at stories, people will then skip past just to see your stories. How many people on here, when you look at stories, you can identify people by their picture, right? Sometimes you're probably going to click on theirs first. They might not be the first one there, but they're going to click you're going to click on it first because you know you like their content. That is how you grow a trustworthy like brand on social media, when people can recognize you. When you're constantly changing things like that and your @ handle on Instagram, you are constantly changing the way people are going to find you, and it changes your trustworthy brand in their eyes, because they're not going to go search you down, right? They're going to be like, oh, okay, I guess not. And then they'll move on. But if you keep your @ handle as your name or part of your brand, whatever your brand is, I highly suggest having it something to do with your name. For me, mine's Lynn's Coggin. And your picture similar, and it stays, that's your brand right there. Those are things that people are going to go and look for. And as I said it, you probably were like, oh yeah, that makes sense, because I do that to like my favorite bloggers or influencers or other thrivers that I love to watch, right? You probably recognize them on Instagram by either their @ handle or their picture. So keeping those similar all the way through is, I know it sounds so like silly, but it is super, super important when building a brand on Instagram. The next thing I want to talk about is on Instagram, I highly suggest just so you can have the insights alone are huge. And if you don't know what to do with them, on the Hustlin' page, I did an entire training on this portion of it. And my downline, it's part of my branding training that I'll be launching next month for y'all. So be on the lookout for that. But have a business, like a content creator account. The reason I say that is because it's going to give you so many more tools, like the demographic that follows you and watches your stuff. It's going to allow you to know which hashtags are working for you. It's going to allow you to know your reach. It's going to allow you to know if you were in the Explore page. It's going to allow you to know what time people have been looking at your stuff and when your page is the busiest. It's going to allow you. Now, these aren't things I want you to obsess over, but they are fun tools to know. Like if people in their 20s follow you more than people in their 30s, well, maybe you're going to then be able to gear your content more towards that demographic. You know what I mean? Or vice versa. If you have 30s to 40s, well, they're probably moms, right? So you know to gear your content towards more of a mom style, or vice versa. If they're 18 to 20, they're probably in college. So you know to gear your product posts towards that style. So it really helps you learn which way to do that. So that is the biggest thing for me to use that for. The next thing is your bio, 5s. It's pretty much the same as my Facebook one. Like I said, 2 birds, 1 stone. Then I look at my grid, AKA your pictures. This is the biggest thing for you to do when it comes to building your storefront. And if you've been on a social media training with me before, you know your storefront is what you build. It's what you do on social media. These picture grids, this is your storefront. Does it tell a story? And if so, is it your story, or is it, and don't hate me for saying this, but is it a Thrive story? Yes, we are a part of Thrive, and yes, it is a large part of our brand and our story, but it is not who we are. If your pictures, if your pictures are not of you and they are of products or emails, or, and I don't mean products like you taking the products, but like products from the website or stock products, or you know what I'm talking about, like the ones that anybody can find. If they are those and they're not yours, I want you to switch it up. Make your pictures your fives. So you know how we were just talking about how I create content, and I gave you guys a little formula to use, right? I want you to pull your pictures from your fives. So for me, if I was going to go with that first scenario I gave you about Rylan, right? That was going to be part of my fives that I was talking about. Then I was going to pull which problem and go from there. My problem would be my caption. My picture would be me and Rylan, or Rylan. Do you see how that works? And you're formulating something that is 80% you, 20% Thrive, because the problem that you're solving, you're giving personal testimony in. So do you see how that is a formula that's going to create your brand on social media? The home decor one, right? My picture, it would be of home decor. Then I would have my problem, my solution, and post. So I want you guys to really get into the habit of picking your pictures from your fives and making your caption around your problems and then your solutions. Don't just give a problem and say best of luck, right? What solution do you have for that problem and why? So in June, I want you guys to really focus on building your brand. I really want you to focus on you. I want you to focus on the impact that you're leaving behind using social media. Okay? And I promised I was not going to keep this going too long because it is end of month. So I just wanted to do a quick little social media help, a quick little audit. One more thing for Instagram is if your stories are not part of that formula, if your stories are all Thrive, they're all emails, they're all products, I want you to break it up by adding yourself in there, whether it be a video of you talking or what you're doing, or you need to be in there. Your fives need to be in there. Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about that on the Work With Me tomorrow morning. I'm going to go through stories. I'm going to go through Instagram. We're going to talk about two birds, one stone, and how I work my IPAs that way. But I really want you guys to focus on the impact in June. That is my word for June, really, is building a brand around impact. And I want you guys to focus on the problems that you can solve using your social media as opposed to selling. So many people talk about what they have to offer from a sales point and not enough what they have to offer from a problem solving point. So really think about it. How are you going to help people? What are you impacting them with? Not, I have sculpts for $5. Great. But if they don't know what sculpt is, they don't know what it's going to do, they don't know what it's done for you, that's just them spending $5. Give them a reason. You know what I mean? Or flat tummy pills. Okay, great. But how does that work? What has it done for you? Do you have bloat? Like, really get into it. Tuesday, tomorrow is payday. Okay, great. Why does that matter? What has a weekly paycheck done for you and your family? What problem has it solved for you? Are you now able to get whatever cheese you want at the grocery store? You don't have to put it back because you picked the wrong one when you were on WIC. What does it mean to you? Does it mean that you can go and buy diapers Does it mean that you don't have to be and do, if you're like, for me, it meant Tuesdays meant I didn't have to work overtime, and I didn't have to pick up work as a nurse. And it meant that I didn't have to spend extra 12-hour to 14-hour shifts, because if you know, it's never just 12 hours. At the hospital, there's no such thing as a 12-hour shift, no matter what they tell you. It just doesn't exist. It's lovely if they think it does, but it doesn't. So what does it mean for you? Does it mean a pedicure after getting off of your 12-hour shift because you deserve it? Does it mean that you're able to, as a teacher, because summer is coming, not worrying about teaching summer school for extra hours and an extra income? What does it mean for you? What problem are you solving for yourself before you start solving problems for other people? Because I'm going to guarantee that whatever problem you're solving for yourself is a problem that somebody else has that they are afraid to talk about, but because you're talking about it, they're going to come into your inbox and be like, okay, tell me about this. So think about it. And most importantly, y'all, this month is not over. I know I started this saying that I hate end of month and beginning of month because it gives a stigma that you have to work harder today than tomorrow because you have 30 days tomorrow and you have a couple hours today. But really, if you woke up every single day and you were like, guess what? I'm a business owner. I'm going to work my business. There would be no end of month or beginning of month hustle. It would just be the hustle. It would just be, let me work my business. Flip that script in your mind. Create your business around you and around what you're able to do because of it, whether it be product or comp plan wise. And if you're not comfortable with the comp plan side, run with the product side. Be a powerhouse of customers, because I'm going to tell you what, you're going to have a powerhouse of customers that are going to be using this and feeling bomb as fuck. And then they're going to be like, okay, so my next door neighbor wants to know what I'm doing because I just ran 2 miles and she was like, that real, like, is someone chasing you? Like, she wants to know, so how do I sell this? Like, you have to really, really ask yourself, if you're not comfortable talking money, if you're not comfortable with that aspect yet, are you just not sharing anything because you aren't comfortable with one part of it? One, you're going to have to get over that, but you can take your baby steps instead of trying to have that ladder that is so tall, trying to jump up it. Or you can do the baby steps up the simpler ladder and not make it as hard on you because you love the products and that's what you want to talk about, and build a powerhouse of customers that turn into a powerhouse of promoters because they genuinely love the products. You can either, I know, Brielle, I thought you'd be proud. You can either, my analogies, I've been hanging out with her too much. Apparently we need a break, but it's fine. Just kidding. I'm not going anywhere. But for real, you can either do a powerhouse of customers, a powerhouse of promoters, or a mixture of, I guess that's not either. You can pick one, or a mixture of both. But you have to pick one. You can't just say, I enrolled, now what? Now you pick which way you want to work. You want to be a powerhouse of customers, you want to go product side, you want to be a powerhouse of promoters, you want to go comp plan side, or you want to be a mixture of both and just go solve the world's problems. But you have to pick one. And it's okay if you want to be a powerhouse of customers. Go be the best powerhouse of customers that our team has ever seen. You go, girl, because that certainly is not me. You want to go be a powerhouse of promoters? Go and roll your heart out. Have your highest PPA month and earn your highest checks. You want to go do both? Go solve those world problems. # world peace. Like, I want you to do what you need to do for you, but sitting down and waiting for it to happen is not an option. I love y'all too much to tell you that that's how you can do this. You can sit down or you can work your business. But if you aren't going to pick which powerhouse or world peace you want to do, and you're just going to wait for it to happen, I love you, but you're going to be waiting a very long time. I will still be here when you're ready to pick, but eventually you're going to have to pick one. You got to pick which way you want to run, and you got to commit to it, and you have to run. So I hope you guys have a great rest of May and are so ready to kick off June tomorrow, aka another day working our business, because we are blessed to get to do this. I will see you guys at 10 a.m. tomorrow on this Zoom ID for a work with me. Bear with me, I have not led one in a very long time, so I'm going to do my best. But run you guys through an hour of IPA's Lynn's style. Everyone does it differently, so you guys will get to experience some Lynn's love mixed in there. And then I'm pretty sure MJ has her training tomorrow to kick off June as well. So I am so proud of you guys. Let's go kick the rest of this month's ass. Bye, guys.